Hey guys, welcome back to Confessions with Cassidy. I, of course, am Cassidy, and this video I have been wanting to do since I started this YouTube channel. I think I'm impartial because I have done this, but I just can't wait to share the points that I learned that were so important to me through this process. And this video is how to know they're the one. Before we dive into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that bell if you're feeling extra lovely. And every subscription, I'm so grateful, and comment. It makes me so happy to know that you guys are enjoying these videos, and I just full to the brim with gratitude. So let's dive in. As many of you know, I am engaged. Sorry, I'm off the market, and I did not think that would ever happen. I've done some previous videos about bad relationships, and I've had my fair share. So now to know that I'm in this beautiful relationship, to begin with, I didn't think I deserved it. And that was a really, really kind of hard realization that I was worthy of love and that I am worthy of love. And now that I have made that realization, I'm just like the heart eye emoji constantly. I'm just so in love. My fiance, Philip, is everything I could have ever wanted in a man. He is so kind, and he is so handsome, and he's generous, and he's thoughtful, and he is so intelligent, and he is the most caring individual that cares about every single little detail and wants everything to be done to the best of its ability in the most beautiful way. And he challenges me, and he makes me want to be a better person, and I'm just so in love. It's why I said yes, I think. But how to know they're the one? This is a massive question. You know, it's not so easy. It really isn't. You know, for sure, it's love at first sight, and I fell in love with Philip extremely quickly. We met on a ship, and next thing you know, our first date was in Antwerp, Belgium, and then fast forward 1 month and we're in Montreal, and we had the most beautiful dinner, and I left that date being like, I am in love with that man. I can't imagine a day without him. And that takes me to my first point, which is the little moments. This is such a small, gorgeous little detail about finding a partner that you want to be with forever. It's the little moments, it's the little things. For me, I realized I was head over heels for Philip when I went to the grocery store and found myself in the candy aisle looking for his favorite chocolate bar. It sounds so silly, but it made me so excited, and it was one of those little details that was just I'd never thought about that before. And it was the little things. It's the mimosas on Sunday morning with my favorite champagne. It's the foot rub after a hard day at work. It's the long walks in nature together where you can talk about anything. I mean, I've always heard that people find these relationships and they feel comfortable to be in silence. And I do think that's a very beautiful thing. But for me, I met Philip, and there's never a dull moment. There is no silence. We don't have to sit. I think if we sat in silence, I'd be uncomfortable. We just are constantly talking and constantly laughing. And I even said to him one time, we were on a walk, and I was like, do you think we're ever going to run out of things to talk about? He was like, no. And I was like, why? He was like, well, I just find you so interesting. And I was like, I find you interesting. And it was just the little things. It's those butterflies, the things when you're dating somebody, and it continues the way of that you wake up and it's the first thing on your mind, and it's the last thing you think about before you go to bed. And it's that feeling of comfort in their smile. It's everything that you could ever dream of. And when I was a little girl, I pictured my life, and I pictured the picket fence and the kids and the husband, and I genuinely mean it when I don't think I pictured Philip specifically. I think I was picturing a Ken doll because I was playing with Barbies. But I found my person that I want to share the little moments with. And I hope you do too, because it's amazing. But apart from, the goody moments and the sugar sprinkles and all of that starlight, there is some really important things that really have to be set in stone before you can actually enjoy the fluff of the relationship, And that would bring me to my second point, which is the most important point. It should have been first, but that's respect. Respect is the most important thing in a relationship. If I can't respect my partner and they can't respect me, there is no relationship. there's nothing there. I think, love comes in waves. If you expect to be married to somebody for 50, 60 years, obviously there are going to be great times, there are going to be tough times, and love can, go up and down and down and up and, be a total wave. But the most important thing is that the respect never changes. You can be fighting with your husband of 30 years, but you know that they respect you the same way that they did the day they married you or the day they met you. And for me, that is just an absolute fundamental foundation that every relationship needs, especially when you're thinking about taking that next step into, asking yourself, how do you know if they're the one? I think you really have to take a look at the relationship and really ask yourself, does this person respect me? What I love, the good, the bad, the ugly, and no matter what, do they always choose me? Because I think you can also look at yourself and think, when I look at them, do I respect them for who they are, for what they like, for the good, the bad, the ugly? And when you have those two working pieces that just fit like the perfect puzzle piece, and that respect is so strong, then you have a beautiful, foundationally strong relationship. My third point is extremely important, and that is trust. Like I said about the foundation of a relationship without trust is a cracked foundation. And you can't expect to build a proper standing house or a life on cracked foundation, because trust has to be woven through every single aspect of the relationship, especially if you end up having children, or you have a mortgage, or you have this life together where you have to make massive decisions, and sometimes your partner isn't there to help you to make them. And there has to be that baseline trust that no matter the decision you made it with the best intentions. If I'm being honest, out of every single person in this earth, Philip is the one person I can rely on, and I trust him with everything. I think the biggest reason why is he has never given me a reason not to trust him. We are completely open and honest about every part of our relationship. There's never been any secrets or things that we've kept hidden from each other. And I think that's extremely beautiful. And I feel so, so lucky and blessed that I can have that relationship with somebody. But it's something that you should look for in a relationship. If it's trust with finances or their loyalty, or even if it's just trusting that they will take your heart and keep it safe. I think it's so, so important to go through your life knowing that you never have to question that. And it makes life so much easier when you can trust somebody. And now for my fourth and final point, that would be that your future and goals must align. It's not always going to be perfect, but in my personal opinion, I think the big things should align. For example, if you want to have children more than anything, and your partner is pretty adamant about not having children, and you kind of think, oh, but maybe they'll change their mind, it's just going to be much tougher down the line. Because what happens then if your partner doesn't change their mind? And you have to ask yourself, are you okay then to not have children in order to be with this person? I think it's important that your life trajectory aligns. I think that's also a question that you have to kind of ask yourself. When you have these big conversations, once you kind of know that this relationship is really going somewhere and is quite serious, that you just make sure that you guys aren't going like this in the trajectory of your life, that things are either side by side or right together, If that's with career, if that's with moving to a new city or a new country, or if that's having children, there's so many parts of life that are so important to know that you are on the same page with your partner about. I've always been an extremely independent person, and my dad always said to me when I was younger, he was like, focus on your career first and love can come later. And I completely agreed with him. I never really looked for love. I wanted to be loved, but it was never like my top goal. My career was always my number one. And then I met Philip, and it was the first time in my life that I thought about somebody else's needs in front of mine. And I think that was extremely terrifying to think, after when I met him when I was 22 years of me, myself, and I, and taking care of myself first, to know that you care not necessarily more, but on an even playing field, that your partner feels as good as you feel. That was really scary for me, but my goodness, it was worth it. I can't imagine my life without him. And, there's sacrifices that I made in my life. I moved to Berlin. I never thought I would move to Germany, but I fell in love with a German man, and we sat down and, you know, I have two passports for Canada and America, and he's obviously part of the European Union. So we had quite a lot of options of figuring out where we wanted to, you know, settle down. And we had this massive discussion about where our next step was going to be, about what city we were going to live in. And we ended up choosing Berlin. And it wouldn't have been my first choice, but I'm happy we did it because I got to live in Berlin. And like, how amazing is that? I got to give it a chance, and I got to see a new side of the world. And you know, we're right close to Philip's family, which is super amazing. And now after 2 years of living there, we're both realizing that Berlin isn't where we want to see ourselves in the next 5 years. But if we hadn't had that conversation and figured that out together, then we would have never known. And now we know that isn't where we want to end up. But it was all about communication and really working together in order to make sure that our lives aligned perfectly and that not one person was walking in front of the other. And I don't regret moving to Berlin. It's not where I can see myself raising a family one day, and that's totally okay because it was perfect for my 24th, 25th year, you know? So I'm just, you know, very grateful I found my one, and I hope you guys get to find your forever as well because my goodness, it's worth it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I love you all, and I hope you guys find your perfect match, and thank you for watching. I am, as always, so happy to be filming these videos and sharing this information and my advice with you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next week. Mwah! Bye.